Have you ever wondered what a Ken Hughes video would look and sound like if he was high on pain medication? Well, you're about to find out. Hi, I'm Ken Hughes. Welcome back to the channel. Let me explain this. So as you're watching this shoulder is completely separated from the humerus. The humerus has snapped off the humeral head, and as I'm making this video, my arm is just floating. About 4 or 5 days later, I'm going to have my surgery, my reattachment surgery, lots of metal and pins. But for now, this arm is just detached, which is kind of funny because my keynote these days is called Connection is Everything. And currently the irony isn't lost on me that this arm is completely disconnected. But I haven't missed a monthly video and newsletter for about 4 or 5 years, and I am not going to start now. So look, this may be a bit tangential. There may be some meanderings. There's a lot of opiates in here to cope with the pain. And the pain, oh my God, having a detached arm is so painful. But look, I want to talk about pain today because I think it's quite interesting when we look at all the work we do in customer journey, customer experience. Obviously, we look to remove the pain from the customer journey, remove the friction. We hear that all the time: effortless, frictionless, make our customers happy, delight, smile. Now, what's interesting about pain, though, is that it's inevitable. Pain is part of life, and pain is part of relationships. Pain is part of our everyday. You can't escape it. And so really, this video is going to be about what your brand and business can do when that pain moment does come. Like, what is the pain plan? And pain is kind of fascinating. I'm quite interested in pain at the moment, feeling a lot of it. Like, pain is a messenger, ultimately. It's not something we should ever be scared of. It's a magnificent system when you think about it, because there's a condition called congenital insensitivity to pain, which means that, as a genetic mutation, you cannot feel pain at all. People born with this condition bite their tongue clean off, they get burnt, they bleed out, they have no idea that they're in trouble. It's a very serious condition. Whereas for most of us, pain is our signal to either stop doing the thing you're doing or to protect yourself. So right now, every time I come anywhere near this shoulder, I get a jolt of nerve pain, which is telling me, be careful. And so I think in our customer journeys, in our customer experience, in our brand customer interactions, it's the same. Customers' pain is our signal to think, okay, something's gone wrong. What can we do as a brand? How can we better support you? This thing is supporting me at the moment. So in terms of metaphor, how do you support your customers when things go wrong? One of the interesting things about physical pain and emotional pain, there was some great work done by a researcher called Naomi Eisenberger. And she did an MRI experiment where she ran people through social rejection. And she looked at the areas in the brain that were affected. And actually, it's the same area as physical pain. So we feel social rejection the same way as we feel physical pain. It's a physical, and that's why, when you have an emotional grief moment or a loss of a relationship, you feel it in your stomach, that knot in your stomach. That's a real thing. Like, emotional pain can be felt physically, but it's certainly in the same area of the brain. And so this is interesting from a brand point of view, because I've talked before about the fact that the brands that we invite into our lives, we self-identify through the brands that we buy. So, the brands are just the props in the theater of the self. And so obviously when a brand lets you down, that's a rejection of some sort. It's an emotional experience. So it's the same experience as physical pain. So you have to address it as a brand, and you have to step into resolving it. And also when we lose something, like there's a behavioral economist called Daniel Kahneman, and he's done some amazing work on loss. And so his experiment is very simple. If someone loses 100 euros, they feel it. If they gain 100 euros, they don't positively feel the same. The negative impact is far more significant than the positive one. And that is true of brand interactions too. So when a customer of yours feels the pain, it's actually magnified much more than all the positive stuff that they get. So dealing with pain and dealing with customer issues is actually one of the ways that we can deepen relationship. Because let's face it, I've spoken about intimacies before. I've talked about experiential intimacy, mental intimacy, physical intimacy for brands. But crisis intimacy is one of the ways that relationships become stronger. So when you go through pain with somebody on a journey with them, you come out stronger at the other side. In fact, one of the most influential researchers on relationship, John Gottman, has a wonderful study, over 50 years, talking to married couples. And his findings are quite interesting. The conclusion isn't that the couples that are happiest are the ones that don't have any pain or conflict along the way. Actually, it's the opposite. The couples that are happiest are the ones that have had conflict, that have had issues in their relationship, that have sat down and resolved them together and come out stronger. Because, Miscommunications, misunderstandings, affairs, disappointments, they're all going to happen in relationship. It's how you handle those things that define the success of the relationship. And the same thing is true of brands and customer relationship. How we handle the hard times, the pain, how we support the customer through their pain as they're going through it, really defines the success of our relationship with them. If we're looking for customer lifetime value, what we're looking for is depth of relationship. And that can really only be achieved when we step into a support space. And so sometimes when we think about loyalty, we think about, oh, well, getting things right all the time is how you build loyalty. And it's true, but actually what's more powerful is when things go wrong, how we support that customer, how we step up, how we deepen the relationship actually builds loyalty probably faster than all the little things that we do right. And so let me give you a very simple model here, kind of a 3-step pain pyramid, if you like, of how we're going to address this. So the first level here, the bottom level, would be remove the pain. The first step when a customer has an issue with you is removing the pain. And this is really the customer service layer. This is getting it right. This is resolving the issue. This is rebooking the cancelled flight. This is finding their lost luggage. This is repairing their washing machine. Whatever's gone wrong, you fix it. You have to remove the pain first. There's no point in trying to deepen the relationship unless you remove the pain first. So for me, there's no point in me trying to heal this injury if I keep bashing it against the wall every time again. So you have to remove the pain. And that's just the basics, isn't it? It's the customer service piece, it's reliability. And remember though, by doing that, you're only restoring the customer to where they were in the beginning. This is what they expected anyway. They expected the product, the service to be right. So when you restore and remove the pain, all you're doing is restoring them to the square one of the board. So don't be super proud of yourself, but you have to obviously do that first to build forward. Now, the second stage is reducing the suffering. So you've caused pain. Now, how do you reduce the suffering? Yeah, you restore it, but then the next step is really about uncertainty. So for me, for instance, when I broke this about 4 days ago now, and I expected kind of surgery the next day, the day after, to repin it, to put the metal back in, to rejoin the joint. But actually it turns out that I couldn't get the surgery for about 3 or 4 weeks. I was thinking, I can't walk around for 3 or 4 weeks with a shoulder causing me like significant pain every moment. And finally, by the way, I did get sorted. I'm having surgery in 4 days. So it's a week from injury to surgery. But the moment I eventually got a date for surgery, all the uncertainty that I've been experiencing for those 24 or 48 hours kind of helped the pain go away immediately, because now at least I had a surgery date. I have something to not look forward to, but I have something to understand. That will be when the pain is fixed. So certainty is really important. And in brands, actually, this means some wonderful work. Like I love what Domino's Pizza did with their pizza tracker. Like that pizza tracker doesn't make your pizza come any faster, but what it does is it says, hey, look, your pizza is being made, your pizza is being baked, your pizza is being checked for quality, your pizza's out for delivery. And so you're being given certainty all the time as you're waiting for that pizza. There was a car insurance company I worked with recently that had been trialing an app for their claims division that basically, as a customer, you downloaded the app for your motor claim, and within 21 days, the app auto-deleted from your phone. And that was their guarantee that, look, within 3 weeks, we will have your claim processed, sorted, and settled. And so much so that the app will just disappear from your phone. Certainty, giving the customer time and certainty. It's really, really important. So again, reducing the suffering isn't just about kind of getting it right again. It's about understanding that customers need to know what's happening, who's responsible, who's doing what, and so that they can feel supported ultimately. And then the final layer of that pain pyramid, the first layer is customer service, the second layer is customer experience, we're reducing the suffering. The top layer is customer intimacy. It's creating attachment. And this is the point about relationships and pain. In the crisis moments, you have an opportunity with vulnerability, with open hearts, with pain, to actually create attachment. I certainly need attachment. I need reattachment. And so what we're looking at here, like there was a wonderful example from HomeServe. They're a company that repair things in the home, and an engineer went out to the home. He noticed that the elderly lady, he was there to repair a toilet. She was unconscious on the floor. He smashed the back door, gave her CPR until the paramedics came, then fixed the toilet, fixed the window he had smashed, even sent her flowers to the hospital. This is someone who's stepping into relationship, a brand stepping into the space beyond expectations. What I do all the work around delight and excitement. Attachment is about showing up for your customer, even when they don't expect you to, in ways they don't expect you to, going beyond their expectations. Attachment is what is the foundation of customer loyalty, of customer lifetime value. And so we have to start looking at it as a relationship, not transaction. And so when you have a pain point in your customer journey, when something goes wrong, yes, you reduce the pain. Yes, you reduce the suffering, but you use the opportunity to create attachment attachment. Really step into the customer's lives. Not only apologize for what's happening, but how can we support you? How can we actually go beyond your expectation here and make you a customer for life? Because that's how you drive the peer-to-peer conversation anyway. And so I suppose to finish, there is a pain paradox. And the paradox is that no company wants to cause their customers pain. Nobody wants their flight to be cancelled, or wants their luggage to be lost, or wants the hotel room not to be booked. But ultimately, when those things happen, it's how you handle that pain. You can actually create deeper loyalty, deeper attachment with your customer if you handle that in a good way. And so there's a really weird paradox. And pain, by the way, isn't the problem ever. Abandonment is the problem. Things will go wrong. Customers also understand that. Pain's inevitable. But the abandonment part, when a brand says, sorry, that's outside our terms and conditions, sorry, that's what you booked, sorry, can't help you, that's abandonment. And obviously in any relationship, abandonment is not a way to build healthy relationship. And so, look at pain, I suppose. From my perspective, I've always believed, and this is outside of business, that pain is a chisel. You're holding this chisel, and what you sculpt out of the pain that you're going through, whether it's personal pain, whether it's grief, whether it's loss, whether it's physical pain, whether it's relational pain, you get to sculpt your future. And that's true of, in my day-to-day motivational speaking as well as in business. But in business, if a customer has an issue with you, you get to hold the chisel. You get to decide, okay, with this pain moment in our customer journey, how can we come out stronger as a relationship together, brand and customer at the end of this? So really treat each of those pain moments that you have with your customers as a golden opportunity to build a deeper customer lifetime relationship with them. Next time I see you, in fact, by the time you're watching this video, I'll be under the knife getting this shoulder fixed, which I'm really looking forward to. And I will be reconnected and back online. Until next time, I'm Ken Hughes.